Yeah, thanks for joining me on this, what's going to be hopefully a quick tutorial to show you how to fully automate your social media using these tools that you can see here, Coda, Make, there's some ChatGPT going on, and Buffer. So we'll come to all of those in a minute. You're looking at Coda. This tool is called Coda, which is where we're going to add all of our content to be able to post them out to the various channels. Just quickly, we will come to this later. I use this software called make.com, which I've only encountered a few weeks ago and got really hooked on it. Actually, same goes for Coda. I've only been playing around for a few weeks and they're just amazing tools. I mean, with the world of AI now as we know it, these little applications I'm sure are going to become critically important. You're not going to need to manually, I don't think, for much longer go to your social media channels to be able to update your content because they do just about everything for you. Okay, just moving on quickly. ChatGPT, as most of us know, that we can get at our content. We can get some unique content coming back relevant to our specific social channel. So we get ChatGPT to do that. And then I use this tool called buffer.com, which is as it says there, social media toolkit for small businesses. Effectively, it allows you to post your social media out onto the relevant channels. And the reason I'm using it is because of the scheduling function. So my application here allows you to schedule your posts. So let's get started and I can start to show you how the application works. Okay, so this is it, completely blank. We're going to start to create some content, but before I do, the first thing that I wanted to show you when we're generating our ChatGPT content is we've got some system level prompts here, which will give us back the relevant output for the specific channel that we want to post to. So my business is Mishi, which is a therapeutic music app. That's where I'm spending all my time and my efforts. But I've got some technical background, so I wanted to try and build this so as I can spend more time actually on the business, and I don't want to go out to agencies. I wanted to be able to create something that is going to allow me just to really be able to quickly put my build up my social media presence and quickly generate the content. Anyway, so this is what you were doing here. You add your system prompt for ChatGPT based on your brand. So you are telling it, who are you, what is your goal, what's the kind of tone of voice of your brand, how do you want it to respond. So you can have a look at what I've written there, but you can add your own one. And then you can see these others here, which tells ChatGPT how to respond to the prompt, which we add up here. And then it gives us back the output for our various channels based on the prompt that you've given it down here, which is specific to Twitter or specific to LinkedIn, and then it takes it actually the value that you want to pass in. Anyway, we'll come to that. So just to show you what I've put here, ensure that the output is suitable for Twitter and generates, and this is a bit that I really love, it generates the most appropriate and popular hashtags for Twitter, and the same will go for the other channels. You put it in there and ChatGPT will give you back, so you don't have to do that work. You can get back based on the content that is generated, what it considers the most popular, as I've put here, and appropriate hashtags, which will save you a ton of time. So, and that it's going to potentially have the exposure to that hashtags to the right audience for you. I also recently, actually only as of yesterday, just added this bit. Your response must not go over 280 characters. It was sending me back stuff that wasn't keeping to that. And so it was erroring when Buffer was trying to post it because it was longer than 280 characters. And that seems to be working. So you can play around with that and set the content up that works for you. So let's get started. The first thing that we want to do is to be able to populate our output fields with the content that we want to post to our channels. So you can either input directly into these columns, or we can get ChatGPT to send us back some data. So I think we should give that a go. Okay, so for my business, what can I add? Let's create a simple post to do with some advice, let's say, about mental health through music, something like that. So what is a simple but very positive piece of advice, come on, type, about how to improve your mental health through music? Okay, so we got a prompt. It's a simple one. It's going to take our system prompt. It's going to then understand who we are as a business. Then it's going to give us something back. It's going to respond to that, and in the fashion of Twitter and all of the others. We still don't have, the next step then is to get this button to become not disabled, and it goes a nice colour of shade of green, but it's not there yet. In order to do that, we need to change the status. So I've built this into this application, which is to give us some levels of status for where we are with our posting. Are we ready to get content? Has it been posted? Has it generated some content already by ChatGPT? So I'm working that way. So if you were to move away from the application, come back, you'll know the status where you are, because you might not want to post everything straight away, but leave it. Right, we're ready to go. We've got our green even button that we can now push to generate content. But before I do that, I'm just going to take off some of these others because I don't want it to bring back content for the others. I just want to do this first simple post. And so it should just get back and return some data in there. So here we go. When I push this button, what happens is it will open a window with a little word that says accepted up there, which is uses what's called a webhook from make.com. It's a unique URL that says that it's posted to make.com, and it has now sent us back our response. What I do when it comes back, I update the status so it shows where we are, and then let's have a little look. Listen to your favourite uplifting tune whenever you need a mental boost. Okay, all good. So this is the data that's going to be posted on Twitter. We've got a couple of simple, and let's hope they're what I've asked for down here, which is appropriate, and the most popular hashtags for that piece of Twitter content. So that's ready to go. So let's move along. If we'd have had others on our social channel, it would have posted relevant content for those channels. The next thing is, do we want to add an image to this post? I've got a little AI image generator that will go into DALL-E again through make.com, and will generate us an image, sometimes good, sometimes bad coming out of there, but we can talk a bit more about that. There, if you want to link to an image, you can do that just by putting a URL in there, or you can go directly to post to live. Also, this is what I was talking about a bit earlier, which is why I'm using buffer, which is I might not want to send this now. I want to create this post but send it at a later date. By default, the scheduled post date is blank. If that is the case, there's a little status message here that says scheduled post date is blank or it's empty. If that's the case, in this box over here, it sets the post to live will be scheduled for 30 minutes from now. So there's a date. Actually, I can show you this. So if I go here and say I want to post this tomorrow at 11:30, it updates my scheduled date status is okay, and there's the new post date, which is for tomorrow. We're January the 18th or 17th today. I'll show you what I mean by this. If the date is set in the past, then it goes back to where we were, which is it says your post date is in the past or empty, and therefore it set it to 30 minutes from the future. That's when it will schedule it. I've put it at 30 minutes. You could put it at 10 minutes or however long you want. I'm kind of giving buffer 30 minutes. It's also allowing me a little bit of time just to go into buffer and check, just in case there is something wrong with it. But that'll be set for 30 minutes. I'm going to go back here and I'm just going to set it for this post to go for 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Okay, right, we don't have a post live, and the reason for that is scooting all the way back to the beginning, we need to set this so that it's ready to post. Again, you don't have to do it now. It's not gonna post it until you click your post to live button. And yeah, all good to go. Right, so let me try this and it should do its little magic again. Right, accepted. Let's come back here. And if I actually go back all the way back to the beginning, if it's work, there you go. I've updated my status to sent to buffer. I've not put it directly to posted because I know at this stage that it has been sent to buffer. And if I come up here and go to buffer, let me do a refresh. You can see my channel. So I've got Twitter here and there it is. It's all set and ready to be sent tomorrow. So that worked a treat. I'm going to delete that because I don't want that going out at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. So I'm just going to delete that. We're back at Coda again. So here you could update this once it's gone out. You'd check it tomorrow to post a status, or these things you can set to do, have status, whatever status, however you want to set this up. It's just how I've set it up. Well, I will show you in a little while the technical bits, how this works, but for now I'm just going to create a bit more content. So let's move on quickly. We know what we need to do. We need to set that to ready to get content. Right, this time we'll do a bit more. Let's create some content for 3 channels there. And let's put a new prompt in. Give me an example of what I can do to improve my day at work. Okay, include music in your response. Right, we've got a green button, we're good to go, ready to get content, so that should work. Right, click the button, we know what's going to happen, we get the window. Let's come back here and it will be chugging away in make.com, and it should be pushing back to this page any second. Our ChatGPT content. Come on. Hey, there we go. We got LinkedIn. Oh, there you are. It's just taking a while. We've got our Instagram. Oh, all good. Right, so now you can just have a look and see what it's put in. What's that? There you are. It can throw slightly strange wobbly. Look at that. All right, so that's what I mean about what it is going to send back. So we hope this post finds you radiating positive. Okay, so there you are. That definitely would need looking at, that version of content. Let's have a look at Twitter. Need to pick up. Here are some uplifting tunes to brighten your day. With your feeling down. Here are some uplifting tunes to brighten your day. All right, again, that's not perfect for putting out, but I'm going to leave it because what for now, just for the purpose of this, we can see that it's generated it, but you can see as well that ChatGPT needs a bit looking at. But even so, it's giving you a great starting point, let's say, for you just to go in and make those changes. It's still going to be significantly quicker than trying to come up with your ideas from scratch in terms of unique content. Let me move this into, I'm going to put ready to post because we know what we need to do now. So I'm moving along, ready to post, ready to post. Right, I'm not going to generate that image just yet. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use this field, the link to image. I'm just going to put an image in here. So right, so you can get free images from a few places. I use, well, a couple. One is Pixabay. The other one, which is quite a good tool, is or service, is Unsplash. So just get anything. I'm going to put work in. Work. Okay, that's quite nice. So these are all royalty copyright free. So I've opened that picture. I'm just going to copy the image link. Let's shut that down. We don't need that anymore. Go back here and post in our link. There it is. and we are ready to post to live. So scheduled date is, let me do that for Friday the 19th at 3 o'clock, and we're going to post it to live. Post it to live. Ready to, there you are, sent to buffer. Okay, let's have a look on buffer. We're going to do an update. There you are. Wow. That's what that post is going to look like. Discard that. What have we got here? That's what that post is going to look like. This is just amazing. And oh, that's an old one that I haven't pushed up yet. And that's my terrible bit of LinkedIn content. But you can see just how that is working, which is amazing. So look, if I come back here, sent to buffer, if we're happy with that, tomorrow that all goes out, we can come back here, we can go posted. We've updated the status. Oh, another feature I've got is I've created this ability to be able to hide posts. So when it's done, you can just literally hide it if I click off of it. Oh, it's got to do that. It's got to have hide entries on to start with. Hide entries and show entries. Okay, so with hide entries on, if I now click that, that will disappear. Okay, I thought I'd messed up there. Right. So we're going to delete that, create a new column, a new row entry. Right, we're going to do a last bit of content exercise. We're going to grab a DALL-E AI image. So no, I'm not going to generate content. I'm just going to grab a bit of output here. Just to go onto Twitter. Research about how listening to nature sounds can reduce stress. That'll do with a link. I haven't tried it with a link. DALL-E prompt. I think I've got equivalent prompt. Okay. Right, show me someone sitting by a beautiful stream looking into the distance. Generate that image. That will do. Let's try and generate the image. So you need to put in as much information as you can in the DALL-E prompt. I mean, that should be enough, but the results are not great. So it should be chugging away and creating that image for us, which should appear. Is it update? Yes, there we go. It updated. Right. There we go. There's our image. Wow, look at that. I'm not sure what to make of that. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean, quality, I don't know. I don't think the quality is really there. Anyway, we've generated the image. So post to live, let's just post this final bit to live. So we're going to get it ready to post, and then let's just come along and I'm going to post it. I'm not going to change that. So post to live, and that should have updated in buffer. Let's see on my Twitter feed. There it is. Just refreshing again. So there it is. There's the output. It's put the link. Okay, so now let's start looking at some of the technical stuff, and we're going to jump straight into make.com. Make.com is the automation engine that powers the application. We've got a couple of content generators where the content and image, and then the post to buffer flow. So these are scenarios. This is the one that gets the content from ChatGPT, and depending on how familiar you are with make.com, this will make a great deal of sense. I hope it does. I'm not going to go into any great detail about make.com. I'm just going to show you some of the key things that hook this whole application together. So the flow then very quickly is, I will just click there to zoom it up a bit. We start with a webhook. I will show you how that works. Webhook simply is a URL link that we place in our Coda application, that when that link is clicked, it calls it. So this webhook is waiting for that to see that, have visibility of that URL. And when that is clicked, you'll remember on our application we get the little window that opens. It's ready to receive the data. So the data that we pass is going to, the only additional data we need to pass to the webhook is the row ID that we're working on. We'll come to that in a bit too. So the information that we're sending, first thing is we're going to get the defaults from our generic prompts, which are down there. So we grab a default row, then we get a single, we get the ID from the single row of data that we're working on. From there, maybe looks complicated, but quite straightforward. It's doing the same thing 4 times here for our 4 different social media channels. And if you can read that little bit of text, I'll just put a little note there. The first one is, if it finds that it's LinkedIn, it will grab LinkedIn content, and then it will just update the status, which you probably will recall as well back in their application. And it does identical thing. So with Instagram, is it an Instagram post? Generate the Instagram content. Same goes to Twitter and down here Facebook. What to show you? So let me see. Single row. I'm gonna have a look at the single row. There you can see it's just the only information. There's one bit of information that it is taking here, which is the Coda a variable that I pass called Coda row ID. That's all it needs. And then just to show you this little bit, when I click on this connector bar here, it will open up what is a filter. This connector bar is where you filter out the data. And once again, I just look for a value in my all of the data that comes through. So where we have get single row of data out of this one, I come down. Actually, it looks like it's all the way at the bottom, and I just pull out output on social channels. You can see some dummy data right down there that says Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. That is the value that comes here from my social channels. So it really is quite straightforward. So if it finds or contains that value, the value in this case being LinkedIn, it will pass through the filter, and then it will grab the content. In ChatGPT, I'm using you have to do your connection. Again, I'm not going to go into detail about that. It should be fairly self-explanatory. And then you have access to the various models. And is that going to show me models available? Yep, it is. Right, so I couldn't tell you the difference between all of these different models. So I'm just working on this one. You can obviously use ChatGPT for free by going to OpenAI. However, you do also get the opportunity to use the model GPT-4. But there is a cost attached to this, and I think GPT-4, I'm yet to look at it, is significantly more expensive than grabbing the content from a version of 3.5. So that's what that is doing there. And the reason that it's costing to get content from GPT 3.5 is because we're using the connection here. I mentioned you can get it for free by going directly. You can grab the content, but if you want to use this service, then you have to sign up, and there's a small charge attached to getting the content back. Okay, so just moving on to show you what I've done here. So all we're doing to get the content is we put in the system role, and there are 2 different roles that we've generated. One is from the system, and the other is a user. So we get the system value back out of here, which is this one. The system prompt, you are an AI assistant. So if I click on this and I go all the way down to, because this comes from our defaults, and you should be able to, there we are, spotted it. There it is, that value there, which you can see it flashing over here. That's where it's getting the data from. So we grab the system. Then as the user, we get our GPT user prompt, which is, I know I keep flicking back, hope that's okay, from this row here. We get our user prompt, so that comes from our single row of data. That's in there. Can you see it? There it is, the user prompt. And then the last part of this is we get another value back from our default row, which is specific to, can you see it there? The LinkedIn one. There you are, this one here, right here. And that value there is this one here, LinkedIn. So you can see what that's doing now, I'm sure, which is system. We set the system up, we take our prompt, and then we add this extra bit of information, and it will generate the output. And that is how that works. And then it will create that. And now finally we come back here and we will literally paste that content. I'm on Instagram now. It will paste that content, which is the ChatGPT response. Where does it get it? It gets it out of there. Choices, message, content. There you are. And that is the content that we're grabbing. And what else do I do? Oh, there you are. I just update my status. So that's why you'll come back here and you'll see it updating there. It's as simple as that. So that was a quick run through of the flow of the application. If we go to the start point, how is this this module, this scenario actually called? That's done with a webhook. So webhook is the trigger. Every scenario it makes starts with a trigger, and this is the thing that is fired first of all. So you use a webhook as your trigger, and you add the webhook, and you grab this unique URL that it generates. So simply for now, you copy that to your address, to your clipboard, and let's just go up into another window, and you can see up here when you fire it, this is what we were getting before. That means it's accepted that the webhook, that you can see the webhook, that the webhook is working. So the next thing that we need to do with the webhook is we need to pass it an identifier for our row. This is absolutely critical or it won't work. To do that, you will click this button here that says determine the data structure or redetermine the data structure. So I'm going to do that, and it's now waiting to receive the data structure. Now if I come up here back to our webhook URL, what you will need to do is, I've created a variable, it can be called what you like, but I've called it Coda row ID. So if I now click that, it does exactly the same, it's been accepted. And if I go back to make, it now says that it's been successfully determined. And that just means that this webhook will not only, once it receives this unique URL, at the end of it, it is waiting for that, or it will accept that value of that, that variable that we're going to pass in. And so this process, can I, yeah, so you can see that obviously I've done this in the past, so that's how that works. So how do we pass that webhook, and that, how do we pass that individual row ID to that webhook? So we're going to do that now. And we're going to head back to our application. Okay, so to generate content, to call the webhook, we come here, I'm going to right click it, and you'll see that this is a button. So again, I won't go into detail with Coda. This is pretty straightforward. You will create content as a type. It can be a text type, or in this case, it's a button. And in here, so the button has an on-click function, which simply opens a hyperlink. And in that hyperlink, this is simply what you add. So the information that is important is that is your webhook, unique ID. Then you add this new variable that we know that the webhook's looking for. And then it took me a little bit of figuring out, because for some reason Coda doesn't seem to want to make it all that apparent on where your unique row ID is. They have something they call a row ID, but to me it's just it's a row number. It's not the ID. But there you are. That actually works. That will generate the row ID. In fact, I can show you if I move all the way along. I've just switched this on here. So I'm going to create a new row. There's the row ID. That is exactly what this what that bit of information, what it is putting out. That tiny bit of code will give you your row ID. So now we can head back to Make, and let's just, I'll discard that. Take a look at our others. I'll do the post to media channels, and you'll see it looks remarkably similar to the last one. And there's not really much that I can add here. We'll have a quick look at buffer. But the webhook, so it's a new webhook because we do exactly the same process in here. But when you come over to your post to live button, it's just the value of your hook is a new one, is a different one. So sorry, messing around there. Okay, so you just put your new webhook in there. We've taken out grab the defaults for ChatGPT because we're not working with ChatGPT. So all we're doing exactly the same thing. Get the row, get the single row, the same values. Is it LinkedIn? Is it Twitter? Is it Instagram? I don't have Facebook set up on my buffer yet, so that link is not in place. Let's have a look. So in buffer, what have we got? So you do your connection. Obviously, all of these, whatever you're using, if it's whether it's Coda or Buffer or ChatGPT, you have to do your connection. It has to authorize you. But once it's done, it's very straightforward. So it can see my 3 channels, and I literally click for this one. I want it to go in. It's going to be a Twitter post. I grab the Twitter output value from in here. So you can see there's Instagram, there's my Twitter. So I grab my Twitter value, and then I grab the final scheduled post date, which, as you probably remember, is this one here, the final scheduled post date. So that's what I do, and I grab the image link, and buffer also requires a thumbnail, and I just use the same one. That is it. And then I literally update Twitter again, or I update Coda with a status. Does nothing more than that. I've just put another module in here that we're probably going to hook up. Of course, you can do anything that you can think of if there's a module for it. So I'm going to, for example, when a post is scheduled, when I create something, I can send myself a Gmail at any point in this process. I'm probably going to, on some of these where it has to wait for quite a long time for there to be an update, I'm going to post myself a little update to say waiting. And I might do that round about here just to say that I'm waiting for data to come back, especially when it's generating one of those AI images can take a while. So there's so much more that can be done. The last thing to show you is the image generator, which again, that's very straightforward. New webhook, get your single row, and then we just we do a connection, and this time instead of the connection is to DALL-E, so instead of it being ChatGPT, and I put my DALL-E prompt in there, and what output do I want? That's what it grabs me. That's what it grabs, and then I look to update the row ID again, which it's getting from here. I could get it from here, or I could get it from here, and down here, what is the DALL-E response? And this, for some reason, DALL-E 3, which is this version, and using the API, sends back a revised prompt. So I capture that. I can show you that a bit later. And then with the data back, which is the link to the image, and that's what I store. So there you are. That is a very speedy review of make.com. There are plenty of online tutorials about how to get off the ground with make.com. So as far as make.com is concerned, I just wanted to show you the flows. Okay. I guess the last thing I can show you is how to validate these buttons. It's very straightforward. There's an advanced feature. You just click here and that should open that up with a disable if parameter. It really is very, very straightforward. In this case, if the status over here is, let me open this, if the status has any of these checked on, so if any of these are in play valid, then it will disable the button. So the only one that is not checked is ready to get content. So if that one is not checked, then we're okay, and it's not going to disable the button. And then I've got a couple of ORs to go with it. So if the GPT user prompt is blank, obviously we don't want to get the content, and another or if any of the social channels, so if we don't have anything showing in here, if that is completely blank, then again the button will be disabled. So I just went off the screen there a little bit. So that's how that works. Really incredibly simple. I do exactly the same with these other ones. With the post to live, I just add a few extra parameters where it checks to see if you've got Twitter, then make sure you've got some Twitter content. And if you've got in here, if you've got Instagram, then make sure you've got Instagram output and you've got an image. Because if obviously if you don't have an image and you try to post that, then Buffer will, it will error, and we'll get an error response. So that's something else that I want to look at doing, is handling errors. If there are any errors coming back from the automation, maybe I'll be able to throw out a message here. So there's lots more I can do, but this was just to get off the ground. Okay, last couple of things to show you. I almost forgot, but you might be interested in this. First one was how to hide and show these entries. So very straightforward. This hide entries box up here, I've just right clicked it and you can see it's called show all. That's the name of that box. So if I click into this table, go over to filter, and there you can see, what is it? Just a little one-line script that does the work there. Took me quite a while to figure out, so that'll save you some time. And then the next one, last one, was to do with how to generate this date for your final scheduled post date. So same thing here, pretty simple. Again, took me quite a while to figure it out, but there you are, just copy that. It's you can have a look at what these things actually mean, and I'm sure it makes sense to you. So this is the value. The 30 here is the 30 minutes that it is going to post this into the future by 30 minutes. So of course you can change that. I've only been playing with both these pieces of software for a few weeks, Coda and make.com. And yeah, I've been able to generate this quite quickly. I think I'm just scratching the surface, and I'm definitely going to put this to good use now I've got this far. It seems to be working very well, and I hope that's good for you, and that you've enjoyed it and you've learnt something there. And yeah, please drop me a line and leave a message, and any questions, if I can answer them, I will do so. Just add a message below. But for now, yeah, that's all, and thanks very much for seeing it all the way through to the end, and good luck. Okay, bye.